Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ready Set Pop. My name is Mariel Basori, greeting you from Mexico City, and I'm here joined by my two beautiful co-hosts all the way from Brazil. We have Lucas Apache, and we have all the way from Colombia my wonderful friend Mauricio Sierra. And this time we have somebody else joining us all the way from Chile, a guest, a very special guest for us. His name is Osvaldo, also known as Ozzy. He's a guest from Mao. So this time I'm going to pass on the mic to Mao for him to let us know what this episode is going to be about.
Thank you, Mariel. Well, we have today the pleasure to have Ozzy with us because I had the amazing opportunity to be with him in his podcast, Gíralo Y Que Suene, in Spotify. And at the end, as you said, at the end of the episode, I was like, oh, you have to be with us in Really Set Pop, like a favor in return. So I'm so happy to have you here, Ozzy. You are an amazing collector. You have an amazing collection that I'm a witness of this collection because I had the opportunity to share time with Ozzy in Santiago. And I know he has an amazing, amazing collection. Now it's more focused on vinyls. But, well, let's start with you, Ozzy. Give us a little introduction of you.
Oh wow, that's a huge responsibility. I feel like they were describing somebody perfect, and I'm not. But hey there, I'm Ozzy. I'm actually from Venezuela, but I'm located right now in Santiago for the last 10 years. Oh my gosh, 10 years already. I'm 33. I'm publicist. I'm working as a retail manager at the moment, and yes, I do have a podcast. And also, I have a huge problem collecting records. I think it's because related to the nostalgia of getting the records that I didn't buy when I was a kid. So that's a little bio. I'm living alone by myself in this apartment, and yeah, so happy to be here. This is my first time on a podcast outside of the podcast structure here in YouTube. So this is really exciting. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, no, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Yes.
No, it's a pleasure.
Thank you.
We always love
Yes.
having different people from all over the world. It's great.
Yeah.
Yes, and today we have a lot of questions for you. I was trying to be more focused on your collection because I know you love a lot of music that we love, and Lucas and Maria love too. So I was trying to identify, like, oh, well, how the questions is gonna be, like, what kind of questions. So the questions are more focused in your collection. So it's very good that you clarified you are not from Chile, you are from Venezuela, a brother country, like a country that is very near to Colombia, and we are like brothers.
Neighboring. You're neighboring.
Neighboring. Yes. So it's amazing. And well, I have a question about your podcast because we are in this podcast 1 year ago, and this is like something that is very amazing, to have the opportunity to share opinions and stuff like that. And I want to know, Ozzy, why did you start with your podcast? What was the objective, or what was
I don't think
the
there was
reason?
any purpose in the first place because I have to say that I didn't start my podcast because I wanted to do it. On Instagram, there's people who follows me. A lot of people follow me over there at collecting albums. And there was always people every time you do these little boxes asking questions when you're bored. And there was a lot of people like suggesting that I should do a podcast because I'm always using my account to like review material or projects or discovering artists and that sort of thing. So for a lot of people, they were really interested to see me in doing other stuff because before that, I used to have a YouTube channel when I was doing video reactions for Asian music. And that was okay. It was a lot of work because you guys know it. When you're doing your podcast or your live shows or your stream shows, you're doing everything. You have to edit it. You have to be on time. You have to create all the how's the interview is going to go. So that's really difficult. So when I was getting a lot of people telling me to do a podcast, I actually considered it, and I was like, okay, so this can't be that hard. But then I was like, I started to delay it and delay it a little bit more, and then I don't know, out of nowhere, on a rainy day on the winter last year. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna record myself and see what happens. So when I did it, I was like talking about turning 33 at the time because my birthday is on August 28th. And I was like, what it means to be 33, what it means to be living in this world. And I just started talking for like 20 minutes. And the reception for that first episode was overwhelming because despite the fact that there's a lot of people following collecting albums, it was really beautiful to actually see how this community of collectibles are like just become one because for a lot of people like us under 30 years old, maybe 40, collecting music was just sort of like a silent house. Like there's a lot of people collecting, but there's not a community. So when that started to happen for the podcast, I saw an opportunity to try to connect with people from all around the world. And that first season went just like that, very organic, not that much of editing. It was really easy. It was really smoothing, and it has like great reviews, and I really liked it. And I started to monetize the podcast. So then I felt inspired by the podcast, and probably it's the main hobby that I really like. So it was maybe because of that, just people suggesting for me that believes that I have something to say about music. So that's how it started actually. So it's nowadays, who would have thought that it would be really cool to just interview people from all around the world, like Mauricio, or people. I actually ended up interviewing somebody from El Salvador, which is like one of the smallest countries here in Latin America.
Yes.
And it was that interesting. So that's how it started.
That's amazing because I think it's an opportunity to connect. Like I think our friendship is because of that, because we connect, because of the music and the collection.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, actually, I met Mauricio because he was in charge of delivering something from Colombia. Because we have this friend in common who collects Faye, which is a Mexican amazing singer from our when I was a child, 1995. Faye was like some sort of Hannah Montana kind of a thing, something like that. Really popular, really famous. And Marlon, which is this friend we have in common, he offered and sent a couple of CDs. And that's how I actually met Mauricio because he was in charge of the CDs. He was our courier, and we met here in Santiago. And look where we are now. So this is that's how life happens in some ways.
It's a small
totally.
world.
It's a small world.
Yeah. Well,
Great.
now is my turn, right?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I want to say that it's really cool that you are talking about this community that we have, because we never talked before, but I discovered that I already followed you in your account, your collection account, and you followed me. So I love how we keep alive this community of collecting. I post one CD or whatever my collection every day, and it's something that I never missed. Like it's like a religion to me. Like I'm there every day doing that. So it's so cool to meet more people with the same passion. And we know that it's not always easy to buy things for our collection because we have other things to pay like our lives.
We have to live.
Yeah, but sometimes there are a few items that we want so badly that the price kind of doesn't matter. So my first question to you is already the most expensive thing in your collection.
Well, that's something that I'm, for some reason, the last couple of days, it's been like a topic to talk about on Instagram because there's a lot of things happening. There's like a revival when it comes to collecting now. Now it's cool to collect records. Now it's cool to go to record shop and go scribbling vinyl records or CDs. And I don't usually spend that much because like I know there's huge followings when it comes to some artists, but I'm trying not to go too crazy. So probably the most expensive item, because I really thought about this question, would be this one. This is Madonna's Finally an Upload box set.
Yes.
This actually was released back in 2020, I believe, but this is the edition that is the rainbow color edition. So this is basically 50 number one hits that she had on the electronic charts on Billboard. And this is really amazing. This was, I'm not proud to say it, but I spent $180, which I don't think is that crazy considering that there's just records. For example, Mauricio went to South Korea pretty recently, and he actually sent me a picture of one Janet Jackson album, which only had a pressing back in 2004. And he was like, okay, this is $160. Do you want it? And that's crazy, paying over $200 for just a 12p record. So considering this is a box set with 6 LPs, it's not that crazy. There's still moments where I feel like, oh my gosh, I want to buy everything. And pretty recently, last year, I actually went to see Madonna in Paris, and I went to Illogical Records, which is a famous record shop focused on Madonna.
Everything by Madonna. Yes.
And I saw Hard Candy that only had one pressing back in 2008, and that album was 500 euros. And I was this close to buy it, but since we're living on this revival when it comes to collecting, I was like, you know what? This is probably going to be repressed at some point near the future.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided not to do it. But I have friends because of this community that has spent thousands of dollars. For example, there's this box set for the Born This Way from Lady Gaga that it's like a picture disc with every single song in every single LP. And this friend of mine paid $1,200. Like, that's insane, paying that much money.
Yeah. Collecting gotta be healthy too. It's not just being crazy. I totally agree.
Collecting any sort of things that you like, it's healthy. I think it's more related to other stuff. But I don't know, if I wasn't living by myself, if I was living still with my parents, maybe $1,200, it doesn't sound that bad. But I do have to survive. I have a dog, I have to live, I have to work, and I have to do something to live. So I can't spend $1,200 or something. Like, I can't. So it would be Finally Enough Love. It's a really great compilation. Even if you're not a Madonna fan, it's the best way to get to know the Madonna material.
Yeah, it's really
beautiful.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. Yeah.
I was actually talking to one of our followers today. Her name is Francesca. She's from Arkansas. If she's listening, hello, Francesca. We were talking about how much can we actually dare to spend in albums. And we were talking about the second unreleased album by Nobody's Angel. There's only one copy on Discogs, and it's $2,000. And we were like, if we didn't have the kids, because we are both moms, maybe you could invest in something like that. But no, now you mentioned you have a dog, you have a life, you have a lot of things to take care of. So you just cannot go and, oh yeah, here's $2,000, have it. And because where is my rent? Where is my services? Everything. So it's kind of crazy. Yeah. So my next question to you, it's not related about money, but it's about what is an item that you have that others envy you for, and that you found it so easily that you were like, oh, here it is, I got it. And then everybody's like, how did you find it? And I always get that.
Oh, wow. That's a really good question, because these are
very specific question.
These are the moments where I actually believe that I'm a very humble collector, because I don't usually, I don't know, maybe an average collector would say, oh yeah, this is a special present with 200 different variants that I have. But that's not the case. For me, it would be this one. I bought it on the flea market over here. And this is an interesting item because this is Janet Jackson's promo, including the Japanese B-sides for her upcoming project titled Damita Joe. This was around the time the incident of the Super Bowl happened. And I didn't know this one exists, because if you guys are collecting records, you know that Japanese bonus tracks are only available on CDs. But this present has the Japanese bonus tracks on vinyl. And I found it for like $15 over here. And I thought this was like some sort of bootleg or something, but it's actually pretty official because it has the record label, signature, and everything. And when I on collecting albums on Instagram, I used to spin my records like through stories. And when I posted this one, my Instagram exploded because they were like, "Oh, these Janet Jackson fans were like, oh my gosh, how did you find it? How much did you pay?" And I was like, I paid $15 over here in Santiago. So this was very special. Like I really spend this a lot, and this is just a regular black LP. There's nothing special about it. Like, but I love it because these bonus tracks are actually amazing. And Janet Jackson is one of those artists that she tends to go deep on her catalog, and she actually performed one of these B-sides on tour. So it's
Okay.
really amazing.
Wow.
Awesome.
Really,
So it
really.
was a great surprise
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah, and it still has like the yen price. Like you can see it because there's a lot
Yeah.
of light, but that's the
Yes, and
problem.
Yeah.
it's in a very good condition actually.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
Yes,
Looks new.
yeah. We should this one.
looks new. Yes, looks brand new actually.
Before we continue with the questions, our friend Adrian, all the way from Texas, who is here, he's saying, "Hey kids, for a minute there, I thought your guest was Teen Wolf Tyler Posey. He looks a lot like him." Adrian.
Okay.
Have you ever heard about it, Ozzy?
No, who is he? Is he handsome?
It's handsome actually. He is the son of J-Lo in Made in Manhattan. That's
Oh my!
isn't he?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh my
Is
God!
that actor?
I'm gonna take that as a compliment then. So thank you. I wish I was him, but I'm not. Probably he's a millionaire, and but I'm not. So thanks.
Yeah, he can buy more records than us.
Yes. Take it as a compliment because he's cute.
hey, Adrian.
Hey, there.
Okay, next
Yeah.
one, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, moving on to my next question. You were talking about Janet Jackson is also one of my favorites and is an artist that I think is impossible to collect because that woman has a lot, like Madonna, you also
Madonna.
mentioned Madonna, like Michael Jackson, like Mariah Carey. These kind of artists are like almost impossible to collect because they have a lot of versions, a lot of material. It's crazy. I want to know an artist that you never thought would be part of your collection and now you have a lot.
Wow. There's something happening with my life the last couple of years because I used to be this person who only collects like classics, like Madonna, Janet, Kylie, like average pop divas. But then
Yes.
since probably my collecting albums exploded on Instagram, and I started to receive a lot of followers, and there's a lot of people, a lot of engagement and interactions. I started to listen to other artists, and probably one of the first one that comes to mind that really blew my mind that I started listening to her was Mariah, because I never listened Mariah before in my life. Of course, I know who she is. Of course, I know her hits. Of course, I know she's incredible. She's the queen of the 90s, but I never heard anything from her. So, in the middle of the pandemic, when the world was like going through hell all the way around, I had this follower from my YouTube channel that started following me on Instagram. His name is Lee. He's from Taiwan, but he lives in Hawaii. So he sent me this huge box all the way from Hawaii to Santiago, and in that box there was my old vinyl single from Mariah. And I was like,
Okay.
what's this? What am I doing with this? And I put it on the turntable. And the first song that comes on that vinyl, it's the David Morales Club Mix for my all.
Yes.
And that completely changed my mind. And now I have almost everything from Mariah 3 years in.
Wow.
So I became such a diehard Mariah fan that on September I'm going to Sao Paulo because she's performing
Oh,
her
I'm gonna
first
be
ever
there.
stadium show.
Yes.
And I'm going over there, and I'm
Yes.
so freaking excited for that. So
Yes.
that's probably one of those artists that really blew my mind that I started listening to her. And just to add another one, maybe I would put Rina Sawayama, for example. That's another one that I've never listened before. And Hold the Girl, which was a release from 2022, it
Yeah.
became my favorite albums from that year. So in a lot of ways, collecting albums has helped me a lot to open my radar and actually listening to new artists and supporting independent artists. So the main reason is Mariah. Mariah really blew my mind, and I'm not a fan from. I didn't become a fan because of the classics. I became a fan because of the remixes. So I have a lot
That's
of
cool.
vinyl singles from Mariah in my collection, and I spin them like pretty much regularly. Like I love the remixes.
Awesome.
I think it makes sense because you are more into this kind of electropop or this kind of music. Even more, you are more connected to this in comparison to be connected to R&B or soul or something like that. So I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially because the first main diva that I've ever started listening was Faye, and Faye was a lot of electropop music back in the day.
Yes.
So it's like a
Yeah.
full circle moment. I'm always surrounding myself with electronic music, with house music. I really love house music. And right now, in the middle of 2024, we're going through this revival of the electronic world and the house music world. And that's pretty freaking amazing. So, yeah, definitely Mariah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Great.
Love it.
Mariah is an artist that you can love for the remixes or the R&B or the ballads or the hip hop, which is my case. I love more the things that she did with the rappers. So she's awesome. It's so cool that you are coming to São Paulo. I'm gonna be in the same concert as you.
Oh my gosh, really? Ah, we
Yes.
should meet. It's gonna be
Yeah,
amazing.
totally. Yes. Let's chat and we can meet each other. Maybe
Yeah,
Mao is coming too. Who knows? We are
Yes,
trying to make
yes,
that
yes,
he
happen.
should
Yes.
come. He
yes.
should come.
I'm
It's gonna be an
planning.
historic moment. I mean, it's her first ever stadium show in South America, and probably the only one she's gonna be performing.
I
So
know.
Yeah. It's
I
gonna be
know.
great.
I'm planning that. I'm planning that. So I'll let you know, guys. But yes, of course, I'm dying to go. So yes, let's hope that everything going well with my plan that I have.
Yes. And
I can't come. Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
that would be too
I can't.
perfect to be true,
No,
Maria.
no, it's okay.
Yes, I know.
I already saw her in 2018, so I hope you guys
Yeah.
enjoy her so much as I did.
You are ahead of us.
you
Yes.
saw her on the
Yes.
Yes.
fashion tour, right?
I'm sorry?
You saw her during the Caution tour back in 2018.
No, no, I'm sorry. 20? No, no, it wasn't 2018 because I wasn't married. 2016. She did the Sweet Sweet Fantasy tour.
Sweet, sweet
Oh my
fantasy tour.
gosh, that's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the first and only time I seen her. So I hope you guys enjoy her as much as I did. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
let's
you.
hope, of course.
Yeah. And before the next question, just want to say that Rina Sawayama's Hold the Girl was my favorite album too in
Oh
2000
my
in
gosh.
that year. Yes, so
Oh
good.
wow. That's so freaking cool. That's
Yes.
such a powerful album.
Yes. And my next question is actually very similar to Mariel's, but it's not the same. Is one item of your collection that you never expected to find because it's so rare, and now you have it. In the case of the other one, you never knew it existed, so you were not looking for. But in my question is a little bit different.
Well, okay, before answering that question, well, Mauricio knows it because the last time he came here, we actually went to record hunting around Santiago. I live in a county where there's at least 20 different record shops. Chile is one of those countries that really collects almost everything. There's communities for anything. And
Yes.
in one of those record shops, I found this, which is I actually received like bits from people like trying to buy this album. This is Janet Jackson's Unbreakable album from 2015,
Okay.
and I bought this here in Santiago. That this is probably the main reason why I chose this one because there's just a couple of moments where it's been hard for me to get that really specific title. But Unbreakable, I found it on a regular record shop. I paid retail price for this, like $35 maybe 3 years ago. It's a gatefold double LP. It's really pretty. There's alternative covers,
It's
but
very
this
funny.
like
Yeah.
was their version, I guess. And I just found it, and I was like, oh, okay, so it's pretty normal to find this. And then I was like, oh no, this is not really easy. And I bought it when I started collecting Janet Jackson on vinyl. So I would choose Unbreakable. It's actually a really important album for me, probably one of my favorites from Janet's catalog so far. But it would be that one. Santiago is a really special place to find almost anything. You have regular record shops, but you also have during the weekends flea markets that are open only on holidays or the weekend. And it's really amazing. Actually, I'm going next Saturday because
I love
there's
this.
this owner of a record shop who asked me to collaborate with him because he created this incredible bootleg from the Celebration tour recorded in Rio. And there's a double CD live audio, so I'm going next Saturday. And it's the most amazing CD to collect, to sum up a little bit, because you can find anything. Even if you're not looking, you ended up finding like Laserdisc from the Girly Show tour by Madonna, or something maybe from Prince, or what happened to Mao when we went record hunting. He found a Boys to Men album. Like, what the hell? That's something so rare to find. And he bought it like for $20 or something, brand
Yes,
new.
actually, was a very good price. Yes, actually, and it was crazy because, as you said, Ozzy is like very difficult to find any. Even when Boyz II Men is from the '90s, and in the '90s was a little easy to find this kind of vinyls, was so difficult. But yes, in Santiago was possible. So yes.
Yeah, so definitely Unbreakable by Janet.
Great.
Great.
The surprise effect in haunting cities is the best feeling ever.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
there's something so general happening, but vinyl records are really expensive now for a lot of countries and a lot of markets. And Amazon, for some reason, has become so cheap now for shipments and handling packages.
Yeah.
I don't know when this happened, but in general, Chile is an amazing country for collecting, and at the same time, it's the worst place to live in because I have so many different record shops over here, and every time I'm having days off, I'm going to just take a look, and I ended up at least buying a one.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we have to put Chile in our to-do list, Luquitas, because Mao has
Of
already
course.
been there, but we have
Yes.
to, like to do.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
really wanna visit Chile, Santiago.
Yeah, you have it closer than me, so yes.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome. You can stay, all three of you, you can stay here in my apartment. I have no problem with
Thank
that.
you.
Oh, thank you.
No, thank you. You are the best.
You're so bad. My next question, I think this one may seem easy, but it's not, because when you get asked this, and I guess it happens to all of us, your top 5 in your collection,
Ah.
it's difficult.
Yeah. Oh, I think that changes. Right now, I have like a favorite top 5 records from the collection. But if we have the same question in the next 6 months, probably we're all gonna choose like 5 different from now. I decided to take these 5 because they represent something for any collector, I believe. I would choose the first one, the Cranberries, the singles collection. This is probably of 1992 from 2002. This was first released back in the record store day from 2021, I believe. And this is the crystal clear double LP version. So that's why I chose it. It is pretty special.
Yes.
It's a double gatefold. I think there's a lot of people releasing greatest hits, but this is the greatest hits that any collector should have. So this would be the first one.
But
Beautiful.
this is the number 5. Like,
Yeah, this would be number 5. If I have to choose number 4, I definitely would choose Sophie Ellis Bextor's Trip the Life
No, I love it.
This is an album that there's a lot of people who are not familiar with this. I love this album. This is probably my favorite Sophie album. It's really cool. Plastic Pop Records back in 2021 decided to press this for the first time on vinyl. This is a double mint green LP. It's really amazing, and I decided to choose this as 4 because she was supposed to tour in here with this album in Chile. The tour was supposed to
Oh,
start here, but then she canceled it because she was pregnant and all of that. But this would be number four. Yeah, probably the main
Oh,
love
highlight of
it.
this group is the entire record. But if I have to choose one, I would choose. Oh my gosh, If You Go, it's an amazing banger. But then I would choose Today the Sun's on Us. What an amazing track to be with a heartbroken. It's
best.
really for number three. Oh my gosh, for number three, I would choose a pretty recent pressing for the very first time ever. Garbage Bleed Like Me.
Wow.
This is a
Oh,
recording
great.
taken from 2005. It was never been pressed on vinyl before. And just a couple of
Wow.
months ago, it was finally pressed on vinyl. What
It's
is
my
really amazing
favorite
about this
by
album is
Garbage.
that all the B-sides from that era, all the bonus tracks are here in this double LP. This is really
Okay.
amazing. It's my favorite Garbage album, so this would be number three.
It's my
Um,
favorite too.
so good. Of course, we have to put Adiva because we have to. So I would choose Body Language by Kylie Minogue. Also, first time pressed on vinyl. It is funny because it says like red blooded vinyl, which is really cool. It's a gateful. It's my favorite, one of my favorite Kylie albums. I don't know why people hate it. I love it. I love this Kylie. This sensual Kylie.
It's a
It's the best.
great album.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the best. Yes.
And for
Agreed.
the first one, a classic for me, I would choose No Angel by Dido. This was
Wow.
released back in the pandemic on 2021, I believe. There's this in a New York-based record shop called Brookville Records, and they used to have represents for this album, but this is a red and black marble vinyl. It comes with a photo book. This is nostalgia in a vinyl, for sure. So this
Yeah.
would be the
For
first one
sure.
because I do have a bunch of vinyl records, but I believe that my favorites always represent something. And these are five vinyl records that I'm always spinning, no matter if I post it or not on Instagram through stories. I'm always going back to one of these albums throughout the years. So this would be my five favorites for the moment. Maybe in 6 months, 6 months later from now, I would be
Everything
choosing, I don't
changes.
know,
Yeah.
something from Juan Gabriel or something or anything else. I don't know. But for the moment, this would be
No,
the
but
first.
those choices were great. I mean, I'm a huge Sophie Ellis Bextor fan, so
Oh my
you
gosh.
choosing
Yes.
Sophie is great. And I saw on your account that you have the Hannah LP,
Oh
um,
yeah.
which is I'm obsessed with that album by Sophie. So yeah,
It's
I love
really good.
Yeah.
Have you
I'm
seen her
very
live? Because I
surprised to
never.
see Garbage. I
Oh my
love.
gosh.
Yes.
When I moved in here 10 years ago, Garbage was touring with the Strange Little Birds album, and I saw them here. And it was probably one of the things that I treasured the most because I was alone, I was sad, I was anxious, I was depressed, all of those things that any immigrants go through. And I went to that show, and it was so freaking cool. So Garbage is always like one of the main reasons that I'm always collecting
Yeah.
records because they have great visuals, they have great quality on the booklets, the plastic, anything. So Garbage is really good. But when it comes to Sophie, she actually performed a couple of times on some Mexican festivals. Did you see her? Oh
she
wow.
has been here before, but I haven't seen her, and she's coming in November for the Corona Capital. But I can't go; it's too expensive just to see her. So
Yeah.
Because
because
it's
the
a
other artists,
festival. Yeah.
I sent the list to Mao and Lucas, and I didn't know anybody, and I don't even
Yeah.
know why Sophie was there because she doesn't even have to anything in common with the other artists. And I was like, oh, I can't spend 2,000 pesos now on that. So sorry, but she's
Of course,
coming.
it's too
She's coming.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, she's been here before.
Oh, that's so cool.
I was
Yeah.
so
And
impressed with the selection. Sorry,
Yeah.
me, Mariel.
no,
Really
no, 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 no.
surprised.
Yeah, I was finished. I was finished, Mo.
Okay. No, I was so impressed with your selection, Ozzy, because, for example, I didn't have an idea that Dido, it was a vinyl of that version of this album of Dido. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that. And I was thinking that I had the opportunity to be in your apartment, but I should spend more time seeing your amazing collection because I didn't remember everything that you have because you have a lot. For example, I was so impressed with that Dido album. It is amazing and it's so nostalgia because I remember that album in that time of my life was so important for me to like listening that album, and it was a different kind of pop,
Yeah,
because at that time,
there was pop with a concept and also pop with the
yes,
text. So going back to listen to classics like that, it seemed, I don't know, it's really weird to choose No Angel by Dido in the middle of such a incredible year for music, because there's a lot of great music released this year. But I chose these five records because they represent a moment in music history, I believe, at least for me. So I don't know what's going to happen in the next 10 years when we have to do this count all over again. Would any of
yeah,
these current records would be part of that top five? I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You're totally right. You're totally right. Moving on, my next question. You were talking so much about Janet Jackson that I know is one of your favorites, and it's one of my favorites too. So I decided to ask you about her, and I want to know what would be a Janet Jackson collab that you dream about, like three people that you maybe it's a dream collaboration that you have for
Mm,
Janet.
well, it's really difficult for any diva to collab, to do a meaningful collab, because you have a lot of cases. Kylie is like always going through all sorts of generations to collaborate with a lot of people, for example, or even Madonna, when Madonna didn't have to collab in the past, maybe 20 years ago. But when it comes to Janet, I feel that one of the main artists that definitely should collab with Janet would be Tinashe. When you see
Okay.
R&B artists, probably in the last 10 years, there's a lot of people getting inspiration from really good old divas like Janet or Madonna or even Kylie, maybe Donna Summer. But Tinashe definitely, I mean, for me, it's way more than just the nasty viral song. Tinashe is one of those artists that it's really, she's deep with her talent, and I believe that Janet is really talented too. So to see Tinashe producing, writing, dancing, and going through all this creative way that she's really good
Yes.
at, maybe a collab with Janet would be really cool. Another collab would be Brandy with Janet. Janet Jackson
Oh.
featuring Brandy would be, maybe it's, of course it's not going to be a hit, but it would be such a really good trip to nostalgia land. That would be really freaking cool. And for sure, after watching the Lifetime documentary from Janet, I would choose Mariah. Mariah had
Okay.
a little cameo on this Lifetime documentary, and she talked so freaking cool about her. So maybe it would be really cool to have some sort of remix and Mariah doing some ad libs, and then Janet Jackson's appeared, I don't know, singing anything she wants. But that would be really cool. It's really hard for me to imagine Janet doing pop, because Janet has always been really, she has a lot of influences on her music. From Ever
Yes.
Since Control, the third album, up to Unbreakable, or the tour she's doing right now, she's always going to some place with her sounds, and she's always doing rearrangements. She's always doing something different. So Tinashe, Brandy, and Mariah for me represents probably the right amount of talent that she needs to, for Janet not to be overshouted, but just all the
Yes.
opposite. So those would be my top three. Rather than choosing just another pop diva, I would go deep. Like Tinashe would be a dream collab.
Okay. Okay. I love the selection because I love those women so much. Yeah. Yeah.
So Mao, so Mao. It's very Mao. Yeah.
Yeah. Very me. It's very me.
Yes. And now
Looking
the next question is, if you have to give up of some item in your collection like forever, you cannot buy again. You gotta give up forever. Which one would be?
A
Um,
hard question.
You gotta let it go.
yeah, I don't want to give away anything, but if I have to do it, if my life depends on it,
Yes,
I would
that's the
definitely give
spirit.
away an album that I believe that music is some sort of a lifesaver, some sort of a refuge for people. So I would choose this is Dixie Chicks, Taking the Long Way.
Hmm.
This is a really freaking good album because there's no escapes in this album. This is an album that fits perfect for any heartbroken. If you're feeling a lot of anger in yourself, if you're feeling hopeful, if you're in love, if you're heartbroken, if you're going through some struggles, this is the album. One of the things that I love about this album so much is that this album was released in the middle of probably the first major cancel culture moments ever in the music industry because
Yes.
these ladies were banned and were canceled back in 2004 with the war.
Yeah.
So they released the main single was the first single, Not Ready to Make Nice, which is probably one of the greatest moments in pop history
Mhm.
because it has so much to give, so much to say. And this album actually even has a song which is called Lullaby, which is dedicated to one of their songs. And this is really cool. I always wanted to have this album. There used to be first pressing on black vinyl, then Amazon released a crystal clear double LP version. And this would be an album that would save anyone's life if they're feeling lonely, if they're feeling that life doesn't have a purpose. Taking the long way from the Dixie Chicks would be a really addition to any collection. And I wouldn't be happy to give it away, but I know that it's gonna do some good into somebody else's life for sure.
Oh, that's
Like it so
a
much.
great answer. Yes, a
Yeah,
great reason to
very good reason. Yeah.
Please don't
yeah,
make me give it away.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know. I know.
No, no, no. After this answer, you are good. You cannot. You don't have
Yes,
to.
you were safe.
You are
Yeah.
safe. Yes. Go, Marielle. Go, go, Marielle. She's
Maril is
frozen.
frozen, I
That
think.
happens sometimes.
She's
Also. Yes.
back.
Yeah, no, she's back. She's back.
Let's see.
Are you there,
Can
me,
you hear
Maril?
me? Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Now we can. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. My internet sign was really low. So okay, it's coming back.
Yes,
Happens.
you are back.
Okay, I'm sorry. My next question is what is an item that you're currently looking for but seems impossible to find?
There's a lot of stuff that I really want, and the struggle is that I'm not looking for anything good or I don't know, a recent release. When Mauricio went to South Korea, he made the terrible mistake to show me the Damira Joe album, and I was going trying to look this album for so many years. It's
I
my
know.
ultimate Janet favorite album of all times. I think it's such an amazing album. Probably the last major R&B release from the 21st century, in my opinion. If you try to listen to any other R&B albums released for the last 5 years, you can put Damida Joe in that selection. It would sound like pretty contemporary. So Damida Joe probably would be one of those albums. But then I'm thinking about that maybe uh, the first Michelle Branch album is The Spirit Room, right?
Yeah.
That would be. I'm looking for that album like everywhere, and it was pressed for the first time probably last year, and it's impossible to find it. It's impossible to have it. There's
Yeah,
a
friend. We are
vinyl
suffering
edition,
the same.
and there's a blue translucent blue edition, which is beautiful.
Yes.
What's the reason behind trying to get this album? Because I have the Japanese version on CD. Working out, I have this personal online trainer that I have, so I'm working out and do my training at my apartment, and I'm always put a CD on my CD player, and I start to work out. And that's one of those records that I put, and I'm always telling to myself, "Oh my freaking gosh, what a great album!" So I'm trying to find that album, and I don't find it anywhere. So if there's anyone listening who can actually sell me that record at retail price, I would be so freaking happy. I know that's not gonna happen because everybody wants money, but oh my gosh, it's really difficult. Like I can't find it. Probably the older one would be the Erotica album by Madonna, but the double white LP. I'm not willing to pay $100 for that because that's the cost right now. Because
Yeah.
I saw it when I was in Paris last year. But definitely the Spirit Room by Michelle Branch. I mean, come on, we need a repressing again. So freaking cool.
Yeah. Actually,
I know Lucas is so agree with that.
yeah, because this is my
Yes.
biggest regret in my
Oh,
collection, because Michelle Branch is my favorite singer ever. And
oh,
when she released this album, she sold in her website. It was signed by her, and it was not that expensive. But at the moment, I didn't have the money, so I was like, okay, I can buy later. But that never happened because
No.
is nowhere. She
Happens.
actually teases us a month ago when she was kind of signing some copies. So look at like there's more to sell, but nothing happens until now. So I don't know, but I feel you, friend. We share the same pain.
it's terrible because the four of us we live in Latin America. Maybe Marielle doesn't have the problem because she's in Mexico, so she has more access to the import stuff or buying directly from the artist web store. But for us here, really in the south, it's really difficult because if you try to buy it directly from the artist web store, you can buy it and you pay shipping. But once the item comes to your country, there's a lot of fees to pay, and
Yes.
you have to pay for customs sometimes, and that's a lot of money. It happened to me once when I bought Kylie's Definitive Collection back in 2019. I bought the double CD and the special edition on CD back then, and when it arrived in Chile, they sent it through DHL, and I had to pay $65 just for costumes when
Yes.
the title bundle was like $60. So it was probably one of
Wow.
the most expensive items that I bought at the time. And after that, I was like, you know what? I'm never buying again on artist web stores because it's a nightmare for us in South America.
Yes.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes, and
The
sometimes
same here
here
in Brazil.
in Colombia it can get lost, and that is worse.
Oh,
So
it's
even when you
worse.
pay, or even when it's the worst. Yes, yes.
Actually, I have a funny story from one of my friends that I interviewed on the podcast on the first season. Her name is, you can follow them on or see her stuff or Comfy Vinyl on Instagram. He actually bought he pre-ordered the Michelle Branch of the Spirit Room vinyl, and they sent it. And once it arrived to his house, it was all warped and it was broken because the
Oh,
mailman didn't manage it too well, and it was broken. And he was like,
No,
so
poor
Damn.
the
they
guy.
didn't give
worst
any refunds
thing.
to him. They didn't give the money back. He couldn't buy the album again. So quack quack. He
What's his name? What's his
Dang.
name again?
Comfy Vinyl. You can find it on Instagram, Comfy Vinyl. And we talked a lot with Gabriel. He's from Uruguay. So when he told me that, I was heartbroken. I was like, oh my freaking God. I don't know what to
Yes.
Oh,
the illusion of buying it or impossible to buy it.
yeah, that's
I
worst.
know. I know.
That's so sad.
Maria,
That's so sad.
do you want to read the comments on the chat?
Yes. You have a hello from Emir Cetina from Canada. Hello to
Hey,
Ozzy.
Chavi.
Um, Adrian, he's saying there's nothing like record hunting. We know Adrian, and we thank Adrian because he has found a lot of stuff for us in Texas. So
Yes.
thank you,
Yes.
Adrian. We love you.
Yes.
And he's saying that he loves Dido. We love her. We love her
Oh,
too. And I saw your picture with Dido, Ozzy.
oh yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah, that
It's so
that
cool.
was back in 2019. She announced the Still
Mm.
My Mind tour. He was like out of touring for so many years, and he started touring in North America, I believe, and then she went to Europe. And my best friend, Antonio, he's from Venezuela, but he lives in Toronto for I don't know the last 15 years. And he went to see her on Toronto. He went to see her on Prague in Germany, and he was like, "You have to go." But at the time, I was like, "You know what? She's not coming here." And then he told me about she was going to Argentina, And he was like, "You have to go. The show is so good." And I was like, he insisted so much that I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna do it." And there was only 2 tickets left. I'll never forget that. I bought the 2 tickets left, and then she announced the soundcheck experience, and it was like really cheap, like $180, I believe, or something. And that soundcheck experience included, she was supposed to rehearse 4 songs, and there was some sort of Q&A, and then you could actually take a picture with her. So I paid for that, and I took a trip to Buenos Aires just for 5 days. I used to go to Argentina a lot, but then I got to the show. When the soundcheck experience was supposed to begin, the rehearsals, once the security guard opened the doors, she welcomed us rehearsing one of the songs. And that was so freaking cool because in most cases, with the meet and greets and the soundcheck experience, you have to wait in line, and then the artist comes up and all of that. But she welcomed us rehearsing a song which is called Mad Love from the last album she released at the time, from Still in My Mind. And that was so freaking cool. There was like 20 people. I was the only Venezuelan over there because there were a lot of people from Peru, from Colombia, from Mexico, from all the South American places. And I waited. I put myself in the last in the line because I was like, if I have to wait until the last spot, maybe I could talk to her. So that's exactly what happened. I was the last one. I took a picture with her. We ended up talking for 10 minutes, which were the best 10 minutes of my life. We were chatting about her last 2 albums. How was she feeling? She talked to me about her child, and the security guard was like, "You can touch her, you can hug her, you can do anything." But when we were supposed to take the picture, I saw her that she was doing this, and she hugged me, and I was like, "Oh my freaking God, this is so freaking cool!" And it was the best experience ever. My hands were all sweaty. I don't think I ever experienced that. And I'm not the type of people who pays for a meet and greet ever. But I did it for her, and it was so cool. She was so humble.
Yes, it was worth it. So
and in the middle in the show, she was like maybe talking a little bit between songs, and she recalled the moment of the soundcheck experience, and she said, "Oh, just a couple of hours ago, I met some people from Peru, from Argentina, and I was the only Venezuelan from Venezuela. And just to hear your favorite artist name your country, that was the best thing ever." So yeah, a really great experience.
Wow, an amazing experience ever.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Faye live, Ozzy?
No, never. When I was a kid, my parents never took too seriously the fact that I was such a huge music fan, because back in my house growing up, there was not that much of a culture to enjoy music. And my parents never took me to any of the tours she did back in the day. Tienda la Noche tour or El Color de los Sueños tour, that never happened. And Faye used to tour a lot South America, like a lot of, most of the time. So I couldn't ever go. And after she did this tour called Desnuda Tour back in 2018, 2019, it seems like it was supposed to be like a greatest hit show. And I was so mad that I couldn't go. That was the perfect moment to do it.
I've seen her 3 times.
Oh my God. Which tours? Did you see her when she was at her peak, or maybe later?
I saw her at the Color de los Sueños tour back in 2000.
Wow.
Yes, and I saw her at the 2015 tour she did after the Primera Fila album. She did this greatest hits tour, and it was really cool. And I saw her at the Noventas Pop Tour, where she's touring with other artists from the 90s. Yes. So, I mean, in here, it's so common to see people and hearing people,
of course.
I saw Faye. But it's so interesting to listen to people saying, "Oh, I want to see her so bad." So, yeah. And she's making a comeback.
Because in the podcast, there's a lot of Mexican collectors that have interviewed the last 3 years. And I'm always saying this from the bottom of my heart. I think that Mexican music culture shaped a lot of South America. I remember growing up as a kid and listening to Faye, Paulina, Thalia, Timbiriche, Garibaldi, and all those groups and all those solo artists that probably for Mexico, there was like, okay, yeah, we have a lot of great artists, but for us, we're the best. Like growing up as a kid, thinking about Paulina, Talia, and Faye were like talking about a huge deal. And I remember when Faye
Yes.
released Vertigo back in 2001 or 2002, and that would really blew my mind. So for us, Mexico is just such a great reference when it comes to pop music in the 90s for sure.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
totally, totally.
She's an
Yes,
icon,
yes,
definitely.
yes.
Definitely. Yes.
And I always say that, like,
Uh,
Mexico is a platform for Latin America. Like, every artist that wants to be part of Latin American community is in Mexico, go
Yeah.
to Mexico. And you have a huge advantage, Mario, living in Mexico, because you
Yeah.
have an amazing opportunity to see different kind of singers live. Yes, actually, here that I live in Colombia, I never had the opportunity to see Shakira, for example, because
Oh,
back in
Which
the
is
90s,
crazy.
she had a lot of concerts here, of course, and in small cities and everything. But back in the day, it was like not so possible for me, and I was a
mhm.
kid. So yeah, I never had the opportunity to see Shakira. I saw Juanes once in this I can't remember Evento 40, that was like a concert because of 40 Principales, that was the radio station.
Mhm.
So that was the opportunity to see different kind of artists live. But yes, I never saw Shakira, and Shakira is from here. And Shakira then was like this huge star that never came to Colombia so often. So yes.
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, it happens. I have never seen Paulina or Talia, so yeah, it's a
Oh,
shame.
Wow.
No, no, I have seen other Mexican great singers, but not those two. And I would love to see Talia, especially. She's my
Me
queen.
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. I Joaquin, who is also from Chile. Well, he's from Chile. He says he would love to see Faye live too. Yes, Joaquin, we love her. And Adrian is saying that he has the Vertigo CD for you, Mao. He found it.
oh yes, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 it's true. Yeah, because I love that album so much, and I think I love that album because of Marlon, of course, and Ozzy. Because I remember when I gave these albums to Ozzy, I was like listening more to Vertigo and all of Faye stuff, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. The Vertigo song actually is so good, and I remember I became fan of this song because Ozzy posted in an story or something like that when I gave him the CD. So yes,
It's a really
Yeah.
great album for sure.
yes, 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 yes. So thank you so much. I think you have a question for us, the three of us, Ozzy. So
Oh my
I think
gosh.
is the time.
Yes,
I
there's
think
time.
I have it somewhere, but I can change the question, right? If I don't remember. Because now
Yeah.
that we're almost an hour deep in this conversation, my question for you, I think it's more accurate, how the three of you got together to create this space, this podcast, this show, because we have three different countries: Mexico, Colombia, and Brazil. We have the language barrier, which is also really important, but what's the motivation behind it? Because living in the middle of our 30s, 40s, 50s, we're going through so much as adults. So, what's the motivation to create the show, and what's the inspiration behind it? What made you guys put three minds together from three different countries and say, let's just do this shit. Let's see how it works, and let's try to keep it up because I'm also create content and I have a podcast and I know how hard it is. But
Yeah.
how Marielle, Mao, and Lucas got together and you guys met and decided to do this?
Well, I
Okay.
remember the
Yes.
moment that I
Yes.
decided to talk about the podcast, but everything started with Marielle in the pandemic that she was doing live interviews with us, with people that loves pop music, and I was part of this, and later Mao was part of this. So in this moment, I became friend with Mao, and we already started to talk like a lot about pop music, the three of us. But then Mao made some. I think it was in one live with Mao
Of the
that he
Stacio
was,
Rico celebration.
yes, he was
Yep.
talking with
Mhm.
Mariel, and I wanted to talk so badly together. I was in the comments all the time, like, oh my god, I want to talk with my friends, and I comment in this live, we should do a podcast, and it was in this moment. I don't know if you
Yeah,
guys remember that. Yes.
I
Yes, yes.
do.
What do you think, me, Mariel?
I do. I mean, I met Lucas over 10 years ago. We've met for years now. We've been
Yeah.
following each other on Last FM for years. And then along came
Wow,
Mao.
that's the
Uh,
spam, my God.
Yes.
yes, Mao came through my YouTube account. And he started commenting on my videos and he said, I love your content. And we began talking. And then uh, like Lucas said, he met Mao because of me, and then the three of us began talking, and all of a sudden we had already a chat, the three of us, and Ready Set Pop happened. That's how it happened.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yes, and I think the motivation behind the podcast was I always dream about to have this kind of friends, and I think I told you about this before in the past, Aussie, when we had the opportunity to chat. And I always dream about to have these friends when I was a teenager, because I felt so lonely when I was in my teenage years. Like I am the only one that listen this kind of music, that like this kind of music, and I was dreaming about to have this kind of friends, to share this kind of music and to share this passion for music and stuff like that. And then when I had the opportunity to know about Mariel because of the contact of her account, and then Lucas that we share, I think Stacio Rico is a big part of that
Yeah.
because it was a Stacio Rico that I don't know, like, yes, like connect together for us, like because it's an artist that we the three of us love. So yes, I couldn't believe that other people love Stacio Rico so much that I do, So it was I think it was the motivation behind the podcast, like to share these stories and to talk about different kind, because you can find a lot of content in YouTube by an artist, like very known artist, like very popular. But it's difficult to find maybe content about artists that were not so popular back in the day, like Michaela or Amanda or Tonya Mitchell or this kind of pop girls from that moment. So I think this was another reason, like, oh, okay, we can put these artists on the table and talk about them, because there are a lot of people that love these artists, and maybe a lot of people don't remember them, but a lot of people do. So yes, I think it was another reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's really cool.
Yes,
What
yes,
Joaquin, he's saying Stacy is the godmother of the group, and Adrian
Yeah.
says she's the fairy godmother. Yes, for sure.
I can agree.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's
yes.
who brought us
It's
together.
true.
So
It's
yeah.
true.
Is the glue.
It's true. It's
Yes.
true.
Yes. Well, it was a pleasure having you here, Ozzy. I mean, I hope you had a great time talking to us. Please let us know your social media so our followers can follow you and see your collection because you have an amazing collection. How
Oh,
can
thank
And
you.
we
listen,
be found?
and listen to your podcast. I was about to say
Yes.
that
Yes.
Yeah.
I yes, because you were so cool and you were so kind, like sharing the information about Ready Set Pop on Gíralo Y Que Suene, and now we want to
Yeah,
give
we did
you this
that.
promotion in Ready Set Pop.
Yeah, we did a little promo when we did the episode with Matt. Well, first of all, this is probably the first time that I'm being interviewed on YouTube. I usually don't agree with interviews because one time there was this follower who told me that I was like an enigma because they knew a lot about what I was listening, but they didn't know anything about me. So ever since he said that, I was like, maybe he's right. So first of all, thank you so much. I had the best time ever. I mean, we're talking for almost 70 minutes, and I'm like, oh, I could just go for 3 more hours. But this was
Yeah.
really, really cool. Like Mao said a couple of minutes earlier, I think that being a collector, enjoying music as much as we do, tends to be a very lonely road, a very lonely, rocky road. So I think we're
Yes.
living in the best moment of a life of the collectors, because now there's more people like us. There's more noise when it comes to collecting. So it is really cool, and see how organic this is, because for all the people who's going to watch, or people watching right now this episode, we didn't have any meetings before. We just go, okay, these are the questions. Okay, who is the guest? Okay, now who create a question for us, and everything just put together. Like, this is the first time the four of us are talking right
Yeah.
now, so that's
Yeah.
really cool.
So,
Well, on Instagram, I'm collecting albums. Nowadays, now people on the street, or most of the time when I'm going record hunting or going to concerts, they don't name it. They don't call me by my name. They know that I'm collecting albums. So collecting albums
So
on
you are
Instagram.
collecting albums now.
I have a podcast titled Gíralo Y Que Suene, which is, the translation would be spinning a little play or something like that. This is the second season. The second season, it's almost recorded entirely because it's going to be 14 episodes. The last episode, according to my schedule, is going to be recorded in Sao Paulo after the Mariah show. So probably that's going to be really interesting to record it. It's been an incredible evening. Mao didn't know it, and any of the guys, but I spent the last 6 days working uh, on the road. I didn't have any days off from the last 6 days, but to be here was the best way to relax, to have a great time. I did enjoy it so much. Thank you so much for the space. We need more spaces like this in the future, and in any other future collaboration you guys needed. I'm your guy. I'm over
Yeah.
here, and if you ever are planning coming to Chile, you have to come. My apartment, it's not that big, but it's not small either, so you can stay here and lay on the couch. It's been an amazing for all of the people watching right now. You guys, we're living in the best moment to collect music, and kisses to everybody. Thank you so much for having me and being the first guest in the third season. So this is Ready Set Pop. Follow,
Yes.
follow, follow, follow everywhere.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, give us a big thumbs up, and follow us on Instagram at Ready Set Pop. Anything else you guys want to add, Mau, Lucas?
Go ahead,
Thank
Mo.
you, Miosi. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being part of this episode today. It was an amazing time, as you said. Thank you for the flowers. You are the best. And it's amazing how music can connect people, and it's amazing. Like we have now this relationship and this friendship, and it's because of the music. So thank you so much. You are the best, and thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, I want to say thank you to everyone watching, our friends. Want to say thank you to Ozzy. I wasn't expected to have a lot of in common with him because I was thinking, oh, he's very fan of Janet Jackson and maybe that's it. But we have a lot in common, so I'm really happy to meet you. I hope I can see you in São Paulo in Mariah's concert, and you are welcome to come back to our show
I'm
anytime.
staying. I'm staying right a block away from the stadium. So the apartment that I'm gonna stay, it's way open. If you have to go to the bathroom while we're waiting in line to get into the stadium,
That's
because
great.
I know that you have
Yes.
to get up
That's
early
good.
to be there. I'm gonna be in Sao Paulo on September the 19th. I'm gonna be landing over there, and I'm staying until September the 25th. So
Oh, we have
I'm
time
gonna
to see
have
each
a
other
couple
for
of days
sure.
to go, and
Perfect.
the tour guide
Enough
the rest.
time.
So I'm
I
gonna
can
track you
take you
down so you can
to
actually take me a tour from the city.
I can take you to hunt cities as I do with Mao all the time in São
Yes,
Paulo.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you
Well,
so much,
guys, thank you
guys.
so much. See you, everybody. See you next week.
Bye bye.
See you.